What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Against the Call. This is episode 36. We have a lot to talk to you guys about today. To start us off, we're gonna have the pregame, then we're gonna have a little interview with our special guest, Colton Gordon. After that, we are gonna have our March Madness Championship recaps. Then we're gonna have around the league MLB. Following that, Mount Rushmore best catchers of all time. After that, we'll have around the league NBA, talking about our predictions for awards and playing predictions. After that, we'll have start bench cut, around the league NFL, the countdown, best throwback jerseys in the NFL, sport of tomorrow, and our draft day to end us off the post game. But to start us off, we have our special guest, Corpus Christi Hooks pitcher Colton Gordon. Colton, how are you today?
Good guys, how you guys doing?
I'm
Good,
doing
man.
great, doing great. Nick, you want to start us off?
Yeah, man. So the first real big thing about you that the viewers got to know, and we've been able to, find out stuff like that. Star pitcher for UCF whenever you were there, and big UCF guys here, of course. So my first question to you would be, what was your favorite thing to do at UCF besides baseball?
Oh, besides baseball, I think it's pretty. We love going to football games, um, going to basketball games. I think just sporting events. We'll just leave it at that. Simple as that. I think a lot of guys like going out, hanging out with their sports teams, going out to different sporting events, and just being around the campus.
Now, did you have a favorite player by chance? I mean, like, we're all kind of the same age, but it's still like most electric player that you were able to watch.
When I was there,
Yeah, when you were there.
most electric player. Let's think here. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Otis. He was pretty legit. I had class with him, and I think that's what I think he's one of them, man. He was pretty legit, uh, and just a good dude. So I'm going him. Most explosive, good dude. Got to know him. I think that's it for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. One of my questions for you is how big of a difference is college baseball to the minor leagues?
Big, crazy big actually, but. At the same time, there are aspects of it that's like not big at all. So Uh, depends on how deep you want to get with it. But the long story short is some things, yes, some things it's right there. Because the competition, listen, UCF plays a very competitive schedule. So when
Mhm.
you're trying to win a baseball game, I mean, that's baseball all the time, no matter what level you're at. Now, there's some stuff that'll change over time, but the answer is yes and no.
Yeah. Now, whenever you were at UCF and you mentioned that you love the sporting events, was there a favorite kind of game that you remember from any sport? A lot of electric football games. So
A lot of electric football games at the bounce house. No, because I went to a lot of them, but there was a
yeah,
lot of night ones. As in just the night games. The night games just felt a little bit different. How about that?
yeah,
Every
yeah.
Yeah.
time you pulled up to a
That's
night game, it's like, hey, it's like
yeah,
something. It must be a big game. We played. Forget who we played the first night game, but it was like, all right, here we go. This
yeah.
this matters.
No, like that's the perfect answer, bro. Just the night games. There's something else, Mike.
Yeah. One of my big questions, what was the feeling getting drafted by the Houston Astros?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. I mean, I think so on the back end of my career at UCF, I got hurt, Tommy John surgery, and I think
Mhm.
the day you get picked after something like that happens, you're just very thankful for the opportunity. So like I think that was the feeling of just being like, man, like this is I'm really happy to have the opportunity to get healthy, to be with the team, to continue to do what I love to do, which is pitch and play baseball.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah.
was
And
awesome.
now you were picked round 8, pick 238. And can you work tell us like how that draft process went? Like who called you and like, just what was going through your head the entire time?
Yeah, the draft process. Let's think about how exactly. When I got a call from my agent at the time, and he said, "Man, he said, I think you're going this upcoming round." I was in the seventh round, and I said, "Okay." So obviously, like I wasn't sure because a lot of things happen very quickly during any draft. Forget baseball alone, NFL, whatever. So uh, the scout called that I was in contact with from the Astros and called right as my agent was calling. I took the scout's call from the Astros. He's like, "Congrats, we just picked you." And then hung out with him, picked up the phone with my agent. He said the same thing. Obviously, ran over to the computer. There was like a 30-second delay, so I was able to see it on the computer, which was really cool. And just with a family and a couple friends, and just like I said, thankful, ecstatic. I mean, it was kind of this like this feeling of like, man, I can't throw right now. So
Mhm.
that's pretty wild. But like I'm so happy to get drafted, and I understood the road to recovery combined with how thankful I was just to be there. So it was
Yeah.
awesome. Great
Yeah.
experience.
Do you
Great.
believe that the Tommy John affected your draft stock at all?
I don't know. I mean, who knows? It's out of I
Yeah.
mean, I mean obviously, it definitely did to a certain extent because like you're either healthy or you're not. But
Mm.
as far as, where could you have gone or whatever, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just happy that it all worked out the way it did. Because I think Tommy John, at the end of the day, made me a better pitcher in the long run. So,
Oh yeah. No,
um,
for sure. Did
so
you?
it's just
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, did you have a favorite UCF tradition? Like you got Spirit Splash and just like bouncing at the bounce house. Were you able to like do Spirit Splash at all?
We didn't get a chance to do any of that. I was
Uh,
bouncing in the bounce house. I'm
yeah, of
telling you, when I
course.
went when I went early on, we were jumping up and down in the bleachers. We were getting it when I was first there. But no, other than that, I mean, I feel like we were pretty tied down with baseball most of the time when there was some
Yeah.
some fun UCF student activities going on, my man, like jumping in the water and stuff. Plus, I don't know how love would have felt about that. You'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Now, UCF, amazing school, of course. And I gotta say, like, we saw that you went to UF for a little bit there, and then you transferred to UCF. Now,
Right.
can you confirm to our listeners that UCF is better than UF?
UCF will always be better for me than UF for sure. No doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt. I think UCF, man, I think UCF has so much to offer. I think it's an up and coming program that is talented in all aspects of sports. I think obviously going to the Big 12 helps everybody. And I think that like it's a spot where you can be a part of the growth of the university, which is a unique place to be. And I think that's what was so cool about it. It was like I felt like as much as I grew there, the UCF program grew, and honestly, all the sports around it. As it is right now, it's still growing. I mean, we're talking about going to the Big 12 next year, which is pretty incredible. So,
Yeah.
um,
Now, if you were to be playing on the team, was there a Big 12 opponent that you would have loved to have faced?
I'd like to go to Texas. I want to go to
Yeah.
Texas. I want to go to Texas at Texas. I want to go see what's. I want to go see what's up. That's the one right there at
Yeah.
Texas.
Now, when you did play in that 2020 year, that UCF team was expected to, be great, super great. And then, of course, COVID hit, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Now, coming from you, Colton Gordon,
yeah.
would that team have made a super regional?
Oh, no doubt. Honestly,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, I think so. That team was. I think I went on. I told it. I was on another podcast, and I forget how I said it, but I was like, that team was probably one of the better baseball teams I've ever been on. I'll say that by a lot, by a lot. And so yeah, I think I don't want to go. I mean, listen, I think no doubt we'd go to the super regional, but I will say simply, we were ready to compete with anybody, any day, anytime, and we were damn good. Period. We just were. And I mean, it goes from guys that weren't even playing in the 21 games, and it is really sad that COVID happened at the time. It was a fun team to be with.
Now, I got to ask, is this tradition like there's a tradition out there for you specifically, and it's called Untucked Colton Gordon. Is this tradition
you
following you to
guys,
the minor leagues?
you guys are getting some good information. You guys must know some of my guys on the team over there because the untucked thing, man. I swear it's been happening since like little league. My jersey always comes untucked, and it just does. And I don't even. I try to tighten the belt tighter. I try to make the pants tighter. I try to make the jersey longer. It just doesn't work. So it continues. It continues to say the least.
So untuck Colton Gordon over untuck Kyrie. That's what I'm getting
There you
picking
go.
up here. You know, that's like the same basis as MJ's flu game.
There you go. No doubt. There you go.
All right, Mike.
Well, opening day for you guys is tomorrow, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Are you hyped and excited for the season?
No doubt. No doubt. I'm really excited. I think this would be a great experience to see him with a bunch of really good dudes, good guys from all over the country. Um, and that's the fun part about baseball. Same as UCF. You get together, start a new season, and hopefully dominate at the level you're at as a team and win and maybe get a ring at the end of it. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Of course. Now, you saying that you wanted to play at Texas. What's been the most beautiful baseball stadium you've ever played at?
Beautiful, just baseball. You're talking about the view or just like
the surrounding areas around it. No, UCF doesn't count.
Okay. I played at a couple. I will say the most beautiful like stadium I played in, like in the stadium, was the Marlins Stadium this past spring training for the World Baseball Classic. That stadium itself was pretty beautiful just to see from surrounding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. There were so many. I'm gonna go Scottsdale, Arizona.
So were there like
Scottsdale.
a lot of mountains around? I'm guessing?
Mountains, a lot of mountains, in the mountains, hot, kind of cool with some cactuses. The sunset was coming right behind the mountains. It was a
That's
good
awesome.
little vibe. That was it. That was it.
Yeah, you mentioned the WBC. How was that feeling?
It was awesome. It was like it was a really good feeling. Obviously, you wish the results better. I think that goes without saying, but I think the experience of being there and like the feeling of it to represent a nation was something that I don't think you could replicate or like even do, whether it's in the MLB or something else. Like that has its own category. I mean, I think guys that I talked to that were there that I played against are just like the Latin guys to represent the Dominican Republic. I mean, that is special. That's like there's a lot of good players from over there. So it was awesome.
Yeah. Now, was Jock Peterson on that Israel team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
How cool is that interacting with him?
It was cool. Good dude. Good dude. I hope he has a really good year. He was fun. He was funny. He was fun to be around. Um, there's a couple other big leaders on the team too, which was cool. But they just a good dude, easy to talk to, and got after it every day, ready to win.
Of course.
Yeah. What is your go-to pitch? Like what do you think is your best pitch?
I think just my fastball. I think just throwing strikes to my fastball, and when it starts with that, I think that's my best pitch. If I can throw that, I can throw stuff off of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I got to ask, and this isn't a really good question for any athlete we have on. Do you play MLB The Show?
Oh yeah, I'm not very good, and I also time out because I know if we get this untucked information that some of the guys are listening for sure. I don't have the Xbox or PS5 or 4 or anything, but my roommates have it. So every time they're playing, I hop on with them. So that's it. So like that's what I got. That's what I got.
Oh well, another one of my questions is the new rule of the pitch clock. What are your thoughts on it?
Dude, the pitch clock's interesting. I kind of like it. I think it helps me. As I drop my water bottle over here 10 times. There we go. I like it. I think it's gonna obviously make the game faster. Some guys aren't gonna like it, but it helps my game. Period. I think it plays to my advantage, so I don't mind it. And I've been playing with it for a year too since I've been here. So I know it's just getting adapted now in the MLB, but it's been in the minors since last year, and so at this point, I'm just used to it.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the minors, you've played 15 games. You have posted a 2.35 ERA in 53 innings with 78 strikeouts. That's really good. Like, congratulations, dude. Yeah. That's really good.
It's impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, started at UCF. There you go.
I was about to say, he was built on UCF.
So. Yeah, you're UCF.
Yeah, started at UCF.
Yeah.
Started there.
Yeah, is being professional how you imagined it to be?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think there's an aspect to it that's so cool and just like wow, like okay, that's it. I think there's also an aspect to like, you know, this is something you got to keep up with every day. There's, being that sounds ridiculous, but being good's not easy. I guess, like obviously, right? As in, if for anything, I'm just saying, like in general, like I think like being good at anything. Like I bet you guys put a lot of time into your podcast. Like
Yeah.
you have to. I mean, like the questions you have are good. Like you talked to somebody about the untouched. Like you got me on that. The fact you guys threw out that's hilarious. So same thing, obviously, with pitching or baseball. Like you just got to put in the time every day. And I think like when you can stack good days on top of good days, like it hopefully in return equals good results, and that kind of that's that. So
Of course, man.
yeah, I mean, I think that's part of like being a pro. Like that's kind of what I thought it would be. That's kind of what I learned at UCF, and I think that's what's been going on here ever since. So
Yeah,
I
and
think it's
you're putting in the work every single day. I mean, and especially coming off Tommy John surgery, it's incredible. That's not something easy at all.
No.
And then but what I want to say is, you're a guest on Against the Call, and a lot of our athletes have luck. So I think you're gonna get called up pretty soon. That's just me though. I think that
okay.
possible. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I mean, if you guys got good luck, you got to keep talking about it. I mean, listen. I think I don't know. It's out of my control. I just want to stay healthy, keep throwing good, and whenever that time comes, that time comes. But until then, just keep pitching.
Very soon.
Yeah. And one of my final questions for you is just what was your favorite teams growing up?
The Rays. So I grew up in St. Pete. I grew up in St. Well, So yeah, my dad lives in St. Pete. My mom lives in Bradenton. I don't know. You guys know where Tampa is?
Yeah. We're like right in
Right
the
over
middle
there.
of
Yeah.
Tampa and
Okay,
Orlando.
so you know exactly where I'm at. St.
Yeah.
Pete,
Yeah.
Bradenton, so back and forth over there the whole time. I would go to like growing up like 40, 50 Rays games a year. And so the Rays are it. I'm locked in on the Rays game. And so the Rays are the team until the Astros. And now I'm
Yeah.
and now it's,
Yeah.
now it's the Astros.
Can't forget about those guys at all.
Man,
Hey,
can't forget about those guys.
you know, Tampa, you got USF. Orlando, you got UCF. Is there like a rival that you had in college that you just hated?
Yeah, you hate USF, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure,
I
right?
was about
I
to
mean,
say there
obviously.
better be one of those.
That's obvious. I really wanted to play Florida. I did. I really did want to play Florida. That didn't happen. Um,
Game.
yeah, but what else? What team do we hate? I don't know if we hated anybody that much. We hated losing. We hated. We really, who we really wanted to beat every time was ECU. I thought ECU every time we played them it was a little more. Which they're there this weekend, so let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Let's go Knights at ECU this weekend, which will be a big series for us. But I think ECU was one that we always wanted.
Yeah, like their
And
baseball program is very, very solid there.
very solid. And I think it was a good time. Like I think in the American, if you go up there and you can, take 2 or 3 away from them on a weekend, 2 out of 3, I think it puts you in a good spot normally, right? Normally that means you're kind of right up there with them because they're up there always in the standings with that. So
Yeah,
um,
they're like 11 in the nation right now. It's crazy.
just I think simply just gives you a little check mark, checks where you're at. So that's all. And
Yeah.
and so let's hope they go out there and dominate this weekend, and then make a little run in the tournament and see what happens. Dude, I think the team this year is really good. I think I think at the end of the day, the record is what it is. But at the end of the year, if you show up in a regional, kind of find your way winning through the tournament, it's all that matters. I mean, you make a little playoff run and see where it goes.
Do you
So I
talk to
think
any
there's a
of the
lot of
guys on the team?
not as much as I used to, but like yeah, I was roommates. My first year I was roommates with bro Nick Romano and Tom Joseph. So
Hmm.
those are my guys. So I mean, they're all my. It's not all the guys that they used to be. Like Rathbone's gone. Jackson Clare's gone. Ryan Saltonsoul's gone. Litch, who I texted in the booth, is gone. So there's a lot of guys that are gone, but there are a handful of guys that are still there.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. Keeping up in contact in them. And I got to ask, Who is the most famous contact in your phone?
Who's the most famous contact on my phone?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a good that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's
Jose
see. Let's see.
Altuve?
No, it's not. No, none of that. It's not. It might not even be an Astros guy. I'm going Tim Hardaway Jr.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Hey,
That's
Wow.
gotta be a good one.
how did that come up?
My cousin played basketball with him in high school, and
That's-
family friend, just known him forever. But he is by far the most famous guy on my phone. Probably the only famous guy on my phone.
That's awesome.
That's
bro.
awesome.
Unless you want to get to know a Corpus Christi hook over here, we got a couple of those guys around.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That team's going off this season.
I
That
see
team is
it. I
going
see it.
off, bro.
The
Just watch.
team, dude. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think we're pretty good as well. This team, we got starts with a bunch of good dudes for me. I think it's when it's easy to hang out with guys, make some food off the field, put in the work every day, like we were talking about earlier. It's a recipe for success. So we'll see what happens.
And like talking about recipes, what's your post game meal? What's your go-to post game?
The easy post to go team or post to food is Chipotle. The hard one is cooking some meals, some some steak or some pasta or some salmon in the oven. But that's always a little too late for all that. So we're going Chipotle or whatever they hand me in the field. If it's free and it's in the field and it's good, I'm taking it. Like I'm not overcomplicating it.
Chef Gordon,
Dude,
Colton Gordon Ramsay.
I can whip it up. I can try to whip it up a little bit. I can try.
No, that's awesome. And also, what was it like to be named second team all conference at the end of the 2021 regular season? Huge
It
accomplishment.
was Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So I mean, again, just being real about it. Wanted to be first team, but second team was a great honor. Like I appreciate any award or honor that I guess comes my way, just because a lot of not only did my time go into the coach's time at UCF and players behind me that played really well. I mean, throughout my time there, helped me as a pitcher achieve that award. So I think anytime someone honors you as a player or person, there's way more that have gone into that for that moment. So I think that's something that post Tommy John has been really easy for me to realize is that, sometimes even when you're doing really well, it's because other people have helped you become that good at something or figure something out that goes along with that. So it felt really good. Felt really good at the time.
And with the coaching, like, what's it like being under Coach Lovelady?
Good, really good. And Nick Oddie, who was there as well as a pitching coach, who has recently left for the Red Sox. The jersey you got on, he's a
Go
pitching
Sox.
coordinator. Yeah, go Sox for you. He's a pitching coordinator with the Red Sox. But Lovelady's a really, really easygoing coach. I think sets the standard to just come in, get better every day. And if you do that, I think good things happen, and then puts the kind of ball in your court to take ownership of your career. And I think that sets you up for success if you can manage that.
Yeah,
So it's
just
really,
being on
really
the
good.
sidelines, seeing him work and seeing his post game, pre-game interviews, seems like a just totally down to earth kind of guy.
Very down to earth guy. Yeah, easy to talk to. Very easy to talk to. Runs a good program to just again allow yourself to get a routine. For me as a pitcher, working with Audie when he was there, and knowing that just attacking that plan and doing that and sticking to it would lead to success. And having a coach that believes in that and allows you to do that, like Love, is a great thing to have. It makes things easier.
And one of my last questions for you, Colton, it's been awesome having you on, but this jersey that he has on, it doesn't really, work well with Rays fans at all. How do you think the Rays are doing this season? Best season start for any team in 7 years.
We'll see. I mean, hopefully they do as well as they can until they face us, and then that hopefully that'll change. But until they face the Astros, best of luck to them. But when they face us, it's go time. So
Yeah,
go
man.
Astros from that point on.
He's legally obligated to say that.
No, that is That is facts. There's a bunch of friends. There's a bunch of friends you make over the time that end up there that you want to see them succeed. Man, they're a bunch of good guys with the Astros.
Man, I love hearing it. And I love just you being able to come on for us, man. It was a shot in the dark trying to get you on, and it paid off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you guys reaching out. Anything with UCF, I'm always big time into. I think UCF has done so much for me that anytime I can just talk about UCF or do something with UCF, I'm always about doing it. So
That's awesome.
hearing you guys went there and you guys are big fans, and obviously you guys just talking about them a lot. Like I want in on it. Plus, hopefully you guys become a big time podcasters, and I was like the first guy to do it one day. Never know.
Very soon. Very soon.
There you go.
Yeah, man, we got to get you on talking about the Big 12 schedule, whenever things get happening.
Let me know, man. Let me know. Now that, like I said, now that I'm in a season and my schedule's a little bit easier, I'll be around.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Mike.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We wish you the best of luck this season. We see a bright future with you. But again, thank you so much.
Yeah. And the Corpus Christi Hooks just got a new fan. That's all I know.
They did.
There you go. Check them out. Check them out. The Hooks. Go Hooks.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you for coming on, man.
No problem. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well, everyone, that was Colton Gordon of the Corpus Christi Hooks. It was so fun having him on, but we're going to head right into our next segment, which is the March Madness recap. Nick, take it away.
Yeah, so the March Madness, definitely one of the more boringer ones in my opinion.
The finals?
What do you mean?
The championships?
The championships. Yeah. Last year you kind of had what was looking like a boring game with North Carolina and Kansas. You thought, North Carolina was going to run away with it. But no, then you had a crazy comeback from Kansas. This year was just pure dominance. It was pure dominance by UConn. And the thing was, before this game, I don't think anybody really had SDSU truly winning. I think it was almost like, I'm going to root for them because I think UConn's going to win, like Faded Greg does on BR Betting. But no, it definitely was just pure and utter dominance from UConn. And, it was a blowout. Some blowouts are fun to watch and some aren't. And this was one of the ones that just wasn't really fun to watch, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really care for either of these teams. But when it comes down to the stats, though, UConn wins their 5th national title with a 76-59 victory over SDSU.
Yep. And
the thing you got to know, I really wish I had the stats down here. I couldn't find where I saw it at, but I should have saved it. That's on me. But there's something about every time they've gone to the Final Four, they've only lost one Final Four game ever.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and their first time ever going to the Final Four, they won the championship. And from further on, they just look very incredible. And if they weren't already, they are definitely now official blue blood. There's they're kind of navy blue, but they're still a blue, and they deserve to be up there, especially winning this title. Sonogo was named NCAA tournament's most outstanding player after averaging 19.7 points per game and 9.8 rebounds per game throughout the tournament. And I think you got to know about Adama Sonogo is him and Hassan Diarra and Samson Johnson all observe Ramadan. So the entire time these guys were they were fasting throughout their days. And another thing about that, they can't drink water. So you're going throughout your entire day, no food, no water, and you're playing in a championship game. And it's just crazy how dominant he still is. And I think that Ramadan was going on through the Final Four too.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, so he was, dealing with that as well. Still just crazy. And this is definitely putting up his draft stock. If he doesn't go in the draft this year, it'll definitely be next year. I think he's probably going to go after this year, go out with a bang. Easily
top 10 if he.
Yeah, at least he should be. There's all these, G League and guys that are they might be better. And there's Overtime Elite, that league.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have their first ever guy be drafted, and he's projected 4th.
That's cool.
So yeah.
But I saw that UConn fans broke into a gym with the lamppost.
Yeah, they're going crazy. Yeah.
They were happy.
Yeah. It's really funny because all the SDSU fans were like, that could never be us. And then like the game before, they're going crazy in the streets after they won the Final Four by that buzzer beater. They're absolutely insane. And another cool thing about SDSU's buzzer beater, did you see like the Padres thing where the Padres had it up on their big screen?
Oh yeah, and then everyone was watching.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what
really
sport.
cool.
That's what makes sports right there. And furthermore, like Huskies have won 5 national titles in 25 seasons. Very hard to do, and it's only really been done by the Blue Bloods. And I don't know. I think that, like I said, going forward, everyone had UConn winning this game.
Yeah.
Even our poll. I think there was like 3 people that picked SDSU, but they don't know basketball. But yeah, also one thing you gotta know about this UConn team, super dominant. This team this past season won every game against a non-conference opponent by double digits and by an average of 24 plus points. And I showed you beforehand some of the numbers that they put up throughout the tournament. I don't think they had a team score over 65 points. Like,
oh yeah, I did see that.
And pretty much they scored in the 70s and almost all the time in the 80s, which is really, really good for a college basketball team. Yeah. But moving on, we have our women's national tournament, which gained the most viewers. It was the most viewed NCAA D1 women's basketball game on record.
Yeah.
And I saw at one point they peaked at like 12.6 million viewers. And also, I wish I had the stats here. You guys are going to have to believe me on this. There was another thing that was basically like this year's men's tournament went so far down in viewings, like past the round of 32. It went down like 6 million viewers.
Wow.
And I think that part of that is just because the upsets, like a lot of bigger, like the smaller teams go on, the bigger teams' fan bases stop watching. And another thing is the Elite Eight, no blue bloods at all. Those make up most of the college basketball viewership.
Yeah.
So for none of them to be there, I think that plays in part. But you know, it just is what it is. Back to the women's championship, though. LSU winning their first women's basketball national championship. And they defeated Iowa in huge fashion. Yeah, Caitlin Clark was a beast throughout the entire tournament. I'll get to her in a second. But they defeated Iowa 102-85. It was never really close in this game. LSU completely dominant. Although in this game, Caitlin Clark put up over 30.
Yeah, she had 30 points, actually.
Yeah, so, 30-point game from Caitlin Clark, just insane. Her name is going to be talked about for a while. She's kind of like at the Sabrina, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but you know who I'm talking about, like the girl from Oregon that went to the Liberty. Yeah, she's basically like that, but I feel like Sabrina was a little bit better. She was kind of more in the news, but Caitlin Clark is definitely going to get up there. And Caitlin Clark won the 2023 Women's Wooden Award as National Player of the Year. So congrats to her. And before we end this segment, I do want to bring this up on the podcast so we can kind of talk about it. Michael, were you able to see the entire Angel Reese controversy that's been happening?
No, I haven't.
So in this game, and if you're listening and you haven't heard what happened in this game, but let's get to the backstory first. Iowa, Caitlin Clark, moving on whenever they beat South Carolina.
Yeah,
Caitlin Clark is doing the "You Can't See Me." She's doing the "You Can't See Me" thing. She does it as she's walking back to the bench. And she does it just like this. That's about how quick it was, okay? Angel Reese, great basketball player. Absolutely phenomenal. And she deserves this win and everything that's coming to her. But the thing is, with the Angel Reese thing, this has been very, very popular, by the way. Angel Reese, whenever they won, confetti's falling down. Everybody's going around. She's going up to Caitlin Clark doing this. But she does it for 10 seconds. Just full on this. Give me my ring. Not celebrating with the team in those 10 seconds. She's doing it to Caitlin Clark's face. That's not professional
at all.
So the controversy is like you're saying, is this class? Is this classless? Is this like okay?
I mean, you see with that, 10 seconds is actually a long time. That's very unprofessional. And at the end of a game like that, during the game, it's different because it's heat of the moment and you're playing for a title. At the end of the game, you won already. Like, players should be going up and like, congratulations, like a normal, like, NBA, WNBA, all these championships are like, oh, congratulations, you made it this far, law. And they're not rubbing it in your face is just super unprofessional and just really not cool of the players.
Caitlin Clark herself has been, saying don't give her any hate, that sort of thing. And I do want to say this. I want to say Angel Reese is a kid. She is a college basketball player. She's practically our age.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, emotions run wild. I understand that. Emotions get the best of you, especially whenever you're like not even supposed to win the entire thing and you blow out the other team. So I'm going to say from that standpoint, let the emotions go. You deserve it. Do whatever you want, that sort of thing. But in the fashion she did it for doing it for an extended period of time in front of Caitlin Clark's face. Caitlin Clark didn't pay her any attention, by the way. You're not celebrating with your team, a big win, and the game has been over for a while. You could have done this a little bit during the game, stuff like that. I'm not going to say it's classless because I feel like that's just too much for, a kid that's not even in professional sports. I think it's just you could have handled it better. You could have, done a little bit better. And I think that honestly, if I were her, I would apologize. Like, it would be one of those things like, I let my emotions get the best of me. I shouldn't have let that happen. Do I deserve to kind of, rub it in your face a little bit? Maybe. But again, I just told you the score, 105 to 80 or 102 to 85.
You could have done that in the end of the game. Like 10 seconds is a long time to do it. That's just like rubbing in your face at that moment. It's very, she might be young, but she's still an adult. Like, you still know what's right, what's wrong as a player. And even she's always been playing for a while. Like, come on, that's still, like, I get maybe a few seconds, no biggie, like boom, 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 oh well, walk away. But like, keep doing it, rubbing on. That's so unprofessional. Yeah. And even it's not a huge thing, but like teams could see that and like not want that type of player on their team and stuff. So it's probably best for her to apologize to make her look better than she made herself look at that time.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Now, and that's the thing too. That whole scenario doesn't bother me as much as it bothers me that she said that LSU women's basketball put women's basketball on the map. Like,
no, it didn't.
No. When you're talking about women's basketball, you're not thinking LSU at all. If anything, you're thinking South Carolina. And if anything, what you should be thinking is I'm not even saying this because I'm biased. Tennessee women's basketball, 7 national titles. 7. This is LSU's first. Then on top of that, UConn, 10 women's national titles. I mean, like, and then she also tried saying like LSU's coach, or no, she didn't try saying that. But I saw somebody else on Twitter. You can't trust anything on Twitter, but people are like, yeah, I think that this LSU women's basketball coach is, the best basketball coach like ever. I'm like, what are you
basketball coach or women's
women's basketball coach ever? And I'm like, in college, and I'm like, nah, you're crazy, you're absolutely insane. And then but just back to like what like she was saying, LSU did not put women's basketball on the map. If anything, South Carolina has been talked about way more than LSU.
This year I saw South Carolina being talked about a lot. Like, they're having a phenomenal season.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see anything about LSU until the end of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I knew LSU was good, but I'll be real, I didn't know anything about Iowa. And like, whenever Caitlin Clark's been popped up, I was like, I don't even know who that is, but she's killing it.
Yeah, I know.
And like now, like that put her on the map for sure. I mean,
yeah.
But just all respect to all these players, but yet again, just keep it professional. But,
yeah.
Going past that point, around the league, MLB.
Yeah, not much going on. Just want to point this out because it is, when this is released, it'll be the first full week of MLB is over. And the first week, it was fun to watch as for fans. And there's some arguments going on between the fans and stuff like, is the pitch clock good, all that. Personally, I mean, like I said before, I think it's a good concept. It's just that there's things that do need to be fixed about it. Like, there's a lot of bad things that's happened. For one, there's the rule that the batter has to look at the pitcher's eyes. Like, they have to make eye contact. But the thing with that is, like, multiple players have been called out because of it. And the thing with that is, if the batter's in and looking, the umpire may not see it, and because of that, he's called out.
Yeah.
They should have made the rule that if the batter's in the box, which has always been a rule, the pitcher's allowed to pitch if he's in the box. If he's in the box, that's good. Like the pitch clock keeps going and the pitcher's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I just think it's just stupid.
It's hard to even figure that out. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard, like, especially with eye black you can wear.
Yeah.
How in the world are you supposed to know every single time that that's happening? That's just uncalled for. And I'm telling you right now, with all the controversy that's been with these rules and people not liking it, this will be probably the only season that rule at least exists with the eye contact.
Who knows? Rob Manfred did.
Yeah, but if Rob Manfred is smart, he will do what's best. But I will say, Rob Manfred has been successful in giving us more offensive games and shorter games. That was his plan.
Yeah.
I saw the other day that average game time was 3 hours and 8 minutes, and now it's down to like 2:46.
Yeah. Another thing with the pitch clock, I mean, it's good. I just think some pitchers feel like, honestly, I think all pitchers feel a little too rushed because like it's their arm. They have they're throwing 90 plus mile per hour most of the time. And like it's rushing their arm to get back, then they're rushing to get back up to the plate. They don't really have a lot of time to look. And you can tell with a lot of these star pitchers, Jacob deGrom, Aaron Nola, Max Scherzer, they're doing terrible right now. Like they've had each of them played maybe 2 games. DeGrom, first game, bad. He had an ERA of up like plus 11 something plus. Same thing with Scherzer. He just let off a back-to-back home run against the Brewers.
Yeah.
And Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, the two pitching faces of Philly, both doing terrible. Like, I don't think it's them. I think it's the pitch clock because they feel rushed. And like they don't have a lot of time. They're only 15 seconds.
Yeah, because you don't just out of the blue become bad.
There's no way like these Cy Young candidate pitchers just become bad like that. Like, I mean, there are pitchers like Shohei Ohtani that's still doing good, still dealing, but still, like, there's no way these players just out of the blue, just like you said, turn bad.
Yeah, no, obviously not, and this will definitely be addressed. I think that if the pitch clock isn't changed, it would be more of just extended time.
Yeah,
for different sort of scenarios and stuff like that. But I mean, I do like it for the sole fact that it keeps the games shorter, more interesting.
Yeah.
Now my roommate Jake, who we've had on the podcast before, he did point out something interesting. You know, like it kind of it like from the home standpoint, it's good. The games are faster. From going to the game standpoint, you know, when you're gonna get up to get a hot dog or something, you might miss something big.
Yeah.
Like compared to
you probably
in the
will.
Past. Yeah, you most likely will. Compared to the past, whenever you know you might have a few extra minutes right there. But you know, baseball is an ongoing game. It's not really until the 7th inning stretch until you really get a little bit of a break.
Yeah. Another thing about the rules change is the pitcher only gets 2 chances to throw, like to pick off someone. Like I don't know all the facts around this rule, but I'm like confused. Like after 2, what's stopping the runner from stealing the base? Like they can lead off as much as they want, and the pitcher can't throw back at them.
Yeah, that's insane.
That like I don't know what the rule is behind that, but like how can you stop that? Like a pitcher can lead off all the way, but the pitcher's gonna have to. I mean, the runners can lead off all the way. The pitcher's gonna have to throw it home just for the catcher to throw him out. That's how I see it, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Again, don't quote me on that.
Could, like, if it's what you're saying, you could literally go halfway.
Yeah,
and then just wait, and then you could go to second.
I mean, you don't even have to wait. You can steal. You can just start running. That's stealing the base, and the pitcher. I'm guessing if the runner starts the run, like actually run, they can throw it back. But I mean, leading off, they can just lead off because they can't throw it back. They just lead off to a certain extent. What I'm guessing is that they have a certain extent where the player can lead off, and then when he starts running, the pitcher can throw back. But still, you can. There's fast players that can make like from first base to second base fast without even the catcher catching him. But like, even slow players can now steal the base with ease with that. I don't think that's a good rule change to speed up the game. Picking off doesn't happen a lot already. I mean, it happens a lot, but like it's not something you should change because after 3 times, the pitcher's probably not going to pick off if they can't get them.
Yeah, no.
So I that's just one rule I don't think was smart.
I don't think so either. That'll definitely be one of those ones that they look into in the off season.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, with another player that got called out was Manny Machado. He was called out yesterday.
Yeah, which sucks for you. Like you're a big fan, right?
Yeah, God, I was so pissed. But he got called out. Then he argued it. Like he was like, "Wait, what?" And then he argued. Then he got ejected. Honestly, like it was a bad ejection and stuff. But I'm not mad about it because I don't like him. But in his defense, that was a bad call, bad ejection.
And this could be like a whole segment in itself. But hopefully you can agree with me. I think that MLB officiating is up there in some of the worst for the sole fact,
like umpires and stuff.
Yes, because number one, first off, they have their own imaginary like batting like box or pitching box, for strikeouts, stuff like that. And then on top of that, there's this isn't any league. This goes back to like us playing rec ball.
Yeah,
they're so power hungry for like no reason. It's insane. Like. Just besides the Manny Machado thing, which was totally uncalled for, totally should not have been ejected.
Yeah.
The thing with the catcher, I think it was on the Phillies during spring training. Could have been the Phillies. I don't know. But
yeah.
He has a glove back,
He thought he had it, so he he has a big glove, so sometimes you can't really feel it. It's just a motion for a catcher. Like he gets it, he thought he had it, he didn't, and he gets ejected for that, dude. That's bad on the umpire. There's like getting power hungry there.
You need and if an official does that, you need to be fired. There is,
or I wouldn't say fired, but like you need to get like a
suspension,
strong
sure.
warnings.
But like if it happens multiple times, you need to be fired.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there needs to be officials at all levels that get suspended for bad calls.
Yeah, I say it is one of the worst officiating, but I also think it's one of the hardest. Like you're behind the plate, it's hard to determine because you're not leaning over to see where exactly it hit. You're sitting for a split second because it's 97 miles per hour. Sometimes 105 miles per hour. You're like making a quick guess because you have to see. You're watching it, but it's super hard to tell.
It's so hard, and that's what makes it the worst.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
But would I take it over robot like AI? Yes, because there's I think could be a lot of bad things that come with the AI.
Yeah, I think a lot of good can come from it.
I think
too.
it come both good, but there's also bad things that come with it. Like the pitch clock, for example. There's a lot of good things that come with it, but there's going to be I think there'll be some big things that bad about it.
It's all just change. And, for baseball, that's probably the only real sport nowadays that people mainly like traditionalism with it. They want to keep it traditional, and that is due in part the fan base is a lot older. I will say that, and that's facts. But on top of that, they don't really like the game to change, which I understand. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that all games need to change at some point to keep it more interesting. Rule changes are inevitable. Mm-hmm. Things like that.
Yeah, I'm younger and I'm more of a traditionalist as well. I don't like baseball changing. I think it's stupid because I've grown up playing this sport, watching this sport, and I like the original rules. I don't like the pitch clock, but I like it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing though. With changing anything at the beginning, you're gonna have half and half. Not a lot of people are gonna like it. Some people are, and then as the years go on, you're not even gonna think about it.
There's some rules that I really hate. Like I don't know. Like for example, the runner on second in extra innings. Mm-hmm. I don't like that at all. Even it's been here for 2 years now. I think I still hate it as much. I feel like it's not fair for the teams. If you had to add it, I just think that give them at least 2 to 3 extra innings without it. And then I understand like the fast paced time. They want it to be faster, but still it's not fair for a team. They can hit a far pop up just far in the outfield and the second base runner can make it home. That happens all the time in baseball. That's not fair.
Yeah.
And then come on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know what you mean. Anything else for around the league, MLB, Mike?
No, just that. It's still the beginning of the year. You can't really say anything about teams. Just chaos days for John. Rays are doing good. There.
Yeah. Rays actually had the best record starts in 7 years.
Yeah.
6-0.
Who'd they play?
Professional MLB teams.
All right, we'll get into this. Keep that in mind. We'll see how this goes later in the year. I'll determine my sayings on them once they play good teams. They played the Tigers.
Miggy's farewell tour. It's supposed to be big, right?
Dude, come on. Miggy hasn't been as good. It's not prime Miggy, dude. All right, we're next segment.
Yeah.
The next segment we have for you today is Mount Rushmore best catchers of all time. And Nick, do you want to start us off today?
Yeah, sure. So actually, no, you start us off because you know a little bit more baseball than I do.
Yeah, sure. So I had a feeling Nick would go with some of the regular guys, so I wanted to change it up a little bit. And one player I've paid attention more this season, like looking into more this season stuff, because he was on like some shows, and it's Mike Piazza as my 4, or not really 4, but like he's my first one I'm talking about. He is one of the greatest. There's arguments that he's not top 4, obviously. Like this list I've researched on has him at 7, but he played for the Dodgers, the Marlins, the Mets, the Padres, and A's. And some of his rewards are the Rookie of the Year in 1993. He's a 12-time NL All-Star. He's a All-Star MVP, a 10-time Silver Slugger Award winner, and he's a Hall of Fame inductee. He does not have a World Series, however. But his career stats, he has a batting 308 career stats, 2,127 hits, and 427 home runs with 1,335 RBIs. That's amazing for a player at any position, but catching, especially catchers, are honestly, in my opinion, the most important player of the whole team. They see everything when they're catching there. But
not to mention he's loved in the Italian community.
He is loved. He's actually loved everywhere. I don't know anyone that really hates Mike Piazza.
Nah, awesome name.
And always good in backyard baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next player I have here is, let me pull up his, Carlton Fisk. A Red Sox and White Sox legend he is. But he played from the Red Sox from 1969 to 1980, and then the White Sox 81 to 93. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1972, an 11-time All-Star, a Gold Glove winner, 3 Silver Sluggers, and a Hall of Fame inductee. He was on the Red Sox and White Sox during their bad years, so obviously no championships there. His career stats is 269 with a OPS of 797, hits 2,356, 376 home runs, and 1,330 RBIs. What really puts him up on the list is his defense. He was a great defensive catcher, and he could also back it up with offense. And then after that, give me Yogi Berra, the legend of catching, other than my next pick, obviously.
I feel like Yogi Berra is definitely the most known catcher ever.
Yeah, because he was a part of the Yankees super teams. Like their tear of runs. He has 10 World Series, I'm pretty sure.
Still less than Bill Russell.
Still less than Bill Russell. He's an 18-time AL All-Star, a 3-time AL MVP, Hall of Famer, and he has 2,150 hits, 358 home runs, and 1,430 RBIs with the OPS of 830. 10 championships.
You're still less than Joey Chestnut.
He has a career batting average of 285 as well. Very good for a player. But I
just want to note this real fast. I don't think that like we will ever see any player reach 10 championships
in any league.
Like in any league, I don't even think we'll see people like pass Brady in 7 like championships.
No, I don't either. I think the closest is football, because I feel like dynasties can be built in football, and I think it's the easiest in football. Maybe basketball, but basketball is different because their max contracts are like 4 or 5 years, and they may switch. They may demand a trade. Basketball a lot of things can change.
Yeah.
In football, like it's kind of different. Like you can set a rhythm and be on that rhythm for years.
Yeah, exactly.
But my final player, and I don't think it's pretty surprising, it's Johnny Bench, the GOAT of catching, in my opinion. The Cincinnati Red. He won Rookie of the Year, 10 Gold Gloves, 14-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, a World Series MVP, and a Hall of Famer. He won 2 championships with the Reds. He has a career stats of 267 batting average, 817 OPS, 2,048 hits, 389 home runs, and 1,376. He was carried this Reds team throughout his career. He was the best player on it. He was one of the faces of baseball in that time. But yeah, that's my list. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, right off the bat, I'll just pick up right where you left off. Johnny Bench, number 1. I mean, his stats are amazing. Like his accolades: Rookie of the Year, 1968, 10 Gold Gloves, 68 through 77. Not a single year did he miss throughout that. 14-time All-Star, 68 through 80, and then 83. 2-time MVP, 70 and 72. Also World Series MVP in 1976, and he made the Hall of Fame in 1989.
Yep.
His last name does not suit him well. He was not riding the bench at all. Johnny Bench, love that guy. Yogi Berra is my next pick. Obviously, you touched on him. 18-time AL All-Star from 1948 to 1962. 3-time AL MVP in 51, 54, and 55. And he made the Hall of Fame in 1972. You already basically said all the stats. And then also he had 10 championships, which we walked a little bit about on that a little bit. But the next one is going to be, for me, Roy Campanella.
Yeah.
Super solid guy whenever I was looking at his stats and everything. 8-time All-Star from 1949 to 1956. 3-time MVP. And we rarely really see catchers get MVPs anymore.
Yeah. This was the time when they were winning. Like, they were the face of base. This was the prime time of catchers.
Yeah. I love to see that. And then on top of that, Hall of Fame in 1969. Obviously, great year. Moon landing, stuff like that.
Yep.
And then on top of that, his stats, he had an OPS of of 86, 0.860, whatever you want to call it. Hits, he had 1,161. He had 242 home runs and 856 RBIs.
Yep.
Crazy good stats. And then for my last one, super cool looking guy. Cool name too. Ivan Rodriguez.
Pudgy.
Yeah,
Pudge.
Yeah, exactly. Great nickname. 14-time AL All-Star from 1992 to 2001. He also had an 04 to 07. 13 AL Gold Gloves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, insane. And then also 7 AL Silver Sluggers. So obviously some great accolades there. His OPS was .798. Hits 2,844. Absolutely incredible. 311 home runs and 1,332 RBIs.
Yep. Crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many legendary catchers.
Yeah. And my honorable mention, Yadier Molina.
Of course. Yadi. He's one of the new age faces of catching.
Yeah.
He's going to go down as top 10, in my opinion, for catching.
I think he will too.
Well, I think that's going to wrap up Mount Rushmore for today. We're going to move on to Around the League. NBA, to start us off, just going to talk about the MVP ladder right now.
Yeah.
So the MVP ladder, Jokic is back on top. Yeah,
Jokic did it after, some impressive games. And, I think that, it's just in the bag now.
Yeah. I think we'll get more. Actually, I shouldn't have started on this one.
Yeah.
Let's start. Well, this is the last week of regular season. It ends on Sunday. I'll pull up the standings real quick. They're pretty much set, like the top 5s and top 6s. And right now the Bucks are leading the East, which I think, I was wrong. They'll win the East. The Celtics are pretty much set at 2, 76ers at 3, Cavs at 4. I think those 4 are not moving this week.
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure they're pretty much set. If not, they for sure are set. And the Knicks at 5, don't see them moving either, honestly.
Yeah, but, the only real thing that can change is Nets. They could be going down to a play-in depending on how the Heat play.
Yeah, the play-ins is where it could get tricky and everything switch.
Yeah.
But with the Western Conference, the easy top ones, Nuggets at 1, I don't think they're moving. Grizzlies at 2, Kings at 3. Those 3 are the ones I don't see moving at all. And the rest that could move. Suns, I feel, will stay at 4. Warriors are at 5 right now. I see them going down, honestly. Clippers at 6. Lakers at 7, Pelicans at 8, Timberwolves at 9, Thunder at 10, Mavericks at 11, and Jazz at 12. The Jazz and Mavericks could make the play-in. They could not. They still have hope right now. We'll see what happens.
And let's just talk about that for 1 second. The downfall of the Mavericks this season, just absolutely devastating to see, especially from where they came in last year, and then where they were before Kyrie. Which is the craziest sentence you could ever say. Where they were before Kyrie
was a lot better.
92%, I think.
90. It was in the 90s.
It was in the 90s, yeah. Percent chance to make the playoffs. Now it's at 8%. And people want to say, "Oh, it's Luka's fault. Oh, it's Kyrie's fault.
Not.
Oh,
it's Kyrie. Straight Kyrie.
at the end of the day, I don't know who to blame for this madness. I don't like whenever you have two superstar caliber players like that. I don't know. I don't know what the downfall of the Mavericks is. I don't know why it's like this. It's sad to see because the Mavericks are a fun team. Mark Cuban is just a great owner. And then on top of that, like the Mavericks can still make it, but
I don't think it'd be smart of them.
Yeah. And then, whenever Kyrie got traded, I remember we talked about it on the podcast, and I said to myself, I don't even see them making a Western Conference final. That's what I said. And now they may not even make the play-in. Super crazy.
Yeah, it is. It just shows you what one player can do to a team. Yeah. Good and bad.
Yeah. And I mean, like, who really knows if that's a chemistry? Who knows?
I bet it is the chemistry. Look what Kyrie has done with every single team he's gone to past the Cavs.
It's just been like there's been no like news articles about that at all.
Yeah.
It's been more of just bad play.
The Kyrie curse.
It could be. And then, past that point, the Lakers.
They're making a come up.
Yeah, they probably won't even be playing in the play-in, which we said at the beginning of the season.
You just want to go into our predictions for the play-ins?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're basically talking about it now.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's start with the East because I think it's easier to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So with the East, like I said, it's easier to say than the West because most teams, like the teams that are in the play-in, like everyone's been eliminated who's not making the play-in, basically. Yeah. Like so the Bulls are at the bottom and they've already been established as they made the play-in. For me, I think the Heat will be in the play-in and they'll play the Raptors. I think the Raptors will move up to 8. And I think the Hawks will drop to 9. And the Raptors will play the Heat. And then to win that, I think the Heat will win at the end of it. And then in the other game, I think the Hawks at 9 will be playing the Bulls at 10 with the Hawks winning. And I think the Hawks will play the Raptors and the Hawks ultimately win to make the playoffs after that.
Yeah, we pretty much have the same thing. I don't see the play-in really changing that much in the East. I think it could change in the West, but I'm just going to say it doesn't change in the West for the sake of this segment. But for the East, I'm going to say Miami versus Hawks. Miami gets the win in this one. They go to the 7th seed. Then it would be Raptors versus Bulls. The Bulls would win. Raptors are out of it. So then the Bulls would go on to play the Hawks. And then the Hawks would win and get the 8th seed.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really interesting to see if the Heat or the Hawks don't make the playoffs this year because I feel like I think they're both playoff caliber teams.
Yeah, the Bulls, I do too. I think so too, but they're just dealing with injuries this year. Lonzo Ball's possibly out for another whole year after this.
Yeah, he has some sort of condition that not even doctors can really explain.
Yeah.
And
he was actually coming up. He was on the come up. He started doing good. Him and Melo was fun to see. But we'll move on to the West. This one's a little bit harder to determine. I'll be honest. The West is pretty open with their teams. But for me, I think Golden State will end up dropping 2 seeds to 7. And I think they'll be playing the Pelicans, who will be the 8th seed. I think the Pelicans will remain the same. And then I have Golden State actually losing that game. I think the Pelicans are very good team this year.
Brandon Ingram has been absolutely tearing it up right now.
Yeah, and with the way Golden State's been playing this year, it's kind of iffy. So I think the Pelicans will win, securing their spot in the playoffs. And then I do think the Lakers will end up passing the Warriors. Same with the Clippers. But after that, I got OKC at the 10th seed playing the 9th seed Timberwolves. I think those two will stay the same. And then I think OKC will beat the Timberwolves. Both are very good young teams. I just think OKC has something this year.
Yeah.
And then I see Golden State playing OKC, but I do think the Warriors will win this one just because of their experience and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. They're not going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I do see them winning, but I don't see the Mavs moving up. I don't see the Jazz moving up. However, the Jazz have been very good this year. Don't get me wrong. Lauri Markkanen's been putting a staple into how he plays, putting himself on the map more. But I don't think it'll be good enough to make the playoffs.
They've dealt a lot with injuries, especially with Colin Sexton.
Yeah, I really like this Jazz team. I see them making the playoffs for years to come if they don't get injured.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I can't really speak too much on it because I don't really think I think the Jazz have a lot more rebuilding to do.
Yeah.
Especially after losing their lead guy, Rudy Gobert. And it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs this year or the next. I think they could be one of those teams that was elite and now they're going through their rebuild phase.
Their rebuild's pretty fast. So like Lauri Markkanen's been doing very good.
They may not even make the play-in. And that says a lot when you don't make the play-in because you can be a 10th seed and make the play-in.
Yeah.
And
I mean, and also in their defense, the West was pretty loaded on teams this year.
It was, but I don't think that's going to change next year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Especially with KD in a full season on the Suns.
Yeah,
think about that too.
And then maybe Kyrie may be coming though and ruining it.
We'll see what happens. But I will say this. It's awesome to see Kings, Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers all in the same division and all just right there together. It's been a minute since I've seen that. Maybe I haven't even seen it, but I don't know. Cool to see. For me, the Western Conference play-in, I'm going to keep the teams exactly how they are. And so the first matchup will be Pels versus Timberwolves. I would have Pelicans winning this game. Pelicans moving
No, it'd be Lakers versus Pelicans.
Oh, sorry. That's my fault. Lakers versus Pelicans. And then on top of that, I would still have the Pelicans winning this game. I would have Pelicans at my 7th seed. And at the beginning of the season, they were looking like they could be a top 3 seed.
Yeah.
Obviously, injuries hit, but I still think they sneak in. And then you'd have Timberwolves versus Thunder. Thunder win this game. So then it'd be Lakers versus the Thunder. And this game is very, very tricky. Lakers have lost to the Thunder before this season. But the Lakers have one thing that the Thunder don't, and that's LeBron James. And I think LeBron James is not going to miss the playoffs, especially after the tragedies he's had not making the play-in in previous years. Give me the Lakers at the 8th seed, and that'll be a fun series, Lakers versus Nuggets.
Yeah, definitely. But to keep on the NBA around the league, we're going to move into our predictions for awards. We're going to be talking more about playoff predictions and our final playoff predictions next week, so keep in touch with that. But for our awards today, we're going to do the MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man, Coach of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. So we've already started talking about our MVP. We'll just carry on with it. Mm-hmm. I think Jokic is going to be back-to-back-to-back MVP winner.
Yeah, I think that it's going to happen. Voter fatigue, it would be the really only thing that could change this, and they just give it to Embiid. But throughout the way the MVP ladder has been this season and the stats with Jokic and just all of everything, I think that it's going to make headlines 3 times straight MVP.
Yeah, and Embiid's been more injured this year than Jokic has. Jokic has been playing more games, which I think will make him a little bit run off a little more, and he's also 1 seed. So, and he carried that team to the 1 seed. He always does.
Yes.
Which I think will also give him the reason to give him MVP. But our next award is Rookie of the Year. In my opinion, I think there's 2 good rookies this year, but I think it's pretty obvious who's winning.
Yeah, based on stats.
Paolo Banchero, he's the new face of the Magic.
Yeah, not to mention, he got them to a very decent record this season.
Yeah.
I think 36 wins.
Something like that. What was their record last year?
It was in the 20s, I think, or maybe like low 30s.
He was playing a hard, the league is really good this now.
Yeah.
And, what more can one player do, a rookie do, though? Like, for a rookie leading that team to
not to mention
a 34-45 record.
34. Yeah, and that's the thing, though. That team is all young. Like,
yeah.
You got Franz Wagner, young. You got Mo Wagner, a little bit older, still young. Jalen Suggs, young. Markelle Fultz, he's younger. He's younger.
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum age.
Yeah, exactly. And that Magic team, they're fun. They're fun to watch. They're fun to see the highlights of. Not to mention Wendell Carter Jr., young as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's incredible that Paolo has been the guy to do it. A rookie, he's going to win Rookie of the Year for sure.
And then I agree with him, obviously. And then for the next one, we have the Sixth Man. This one's a little more closer in talks. It's the 2 big ones is Malcolm Brogdon of the Celtics and Emmanuel Quickley. And I think it's pretty hard. My bias is going to get me. So I'm going to say Malcolm Brogdon. Mm-hmm. I just think it's also, he has a little bit better stats, like a very little bit. Like they're really close, but they're better. And his team is doing better, which I think will carry him into winning the Sixth Man award.
That's what I will say. I think also the past kind of helps him as well with just how solid of a player that he's been. And Emmanuel Quickly is still very young. I mean, it's going to be Brogdon for the sole fact, better record, like you said.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been starter his whole career, and he came to the Celtics, became the sixth man. I mean, he's starter worthy. He can be a starter.
Exactly.
It's just he's being used as a sixth man, which is smart, and he doesn't care about it. He just wants to win, and that's why he's good enough to be a starter, like I said, and that's why
I think Quickly is good enough to be a starter too.
I think a lot of six men that win it are good enough to be starters.
Yeah.
They're just like
they're better at a 6-man role because when you got the starters going to the bench, you're gonna need those people to lead you to carry on the game, carry on winning. Yeah. And sometimes people prefer to be a 6-man. Yeah. Less pressure, little less pressure,
Mm-hmm. And then my next one I'm going to talk about, we're going to have the Defensive Player of the Year, which I think is pretty obvious.
Yes.
Grizzlies.
Leader in blocks, and
Jaren Jackson.
Proficiency. Yeah.
I have Jaren Jackson winning. But it's pretty obvious with that.
It's been a minute, since the Grizzlies players won, so it's made me very happy for sure.
Yeah, and then our last one we're going to talk about is Coach of the Year. And there's two coaches here that are leading, and last time I saw they were leading, it was Coach Mazzulla of the Celtics and Coach Brown of the Kings. And personally, I want Mazzulla to win, obviously, but I think Michael Brown will win because he's taking the Kings out of that long drought. Yeah. And not just like barely. He got a top seed.
Exactly. 3 seed. Super incredible. And I obviously know why Mazzulla's there. First year for the Celtics, 2nd seed. Obviously, you're dealing with a good team, but being a good head coach still counts. And very, very impressive for these guys, especially Michael Brown. And that's why I think his is a little bit more impressive, especially with when you compare a Kings team to the Celtics team.
Yeah, like players-wise, the Celtics, I think, obviously have it better. And leading the team that he has to a 3 seed, I mean, he has good players, don't get me wrong, like really good players. Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, all they're super good. But, I mean, I'll take the players with the Celtics over them any day. No, that's not even biased. But leading that team still to a 3 seed, super impressive.
Yeah.
But that was actually my last award, but also if we're talking injury awards, Anthony Davis wins it any day. I'll say that. Anthony Davis wins that any day.
That's a yearly award he wins.
As you said before, man gets injured, season-ending injury every week.
Yeah, he does, bro. He really does. Let's just head into our next segment here, Mike.
Start, bench, cut. Jinx. And what it is today, we have Karl Anthony Towns versus Julius Randle and Zion Williamson. Nick, how about you take it away?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So this was hard. I told you before this started.
This is all healthy. All healthy, no injury.
All healthy. And a little bit of bias may play into this. I'm starting Zion.
Yeah.
I'm starting Zion, and the bias comes from Duke and that sort of thing. But man is super dominant. And that's the thing, though. My bench is going to be Karl Anthony Towns. Mm-hmm. Karl Anthony Towns is very dominant, whenever he's healthy and that sort of thing. Like I said, it's super hard to get into this. I think that they're both kind of evenly matched. They also play different positions as well, so take that into account. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely start Zion out there on my starters, then have Cat coming off the bench, and I'm cutting Julius Randle. He's a good player, but he's not at this sort of caliber, and I mean caliber when they're healthy. If it's a one-on-one, I'm looking at it more as a one-on-one. I don't see Julius Randle beating Karl Anthony Towns in 3 games. I feel like Julius Randle could get that 1 game. That's how close I think it is.
Yeah. For me, I'm the same way. Starting Zion, I think he's the most dominant player on this list. When he plays, he's leading that Pelicans team he reminds me of a LeBron James type thing when he's on the court playing. And then my bench is Karl Anthony Towns. He's a top center when healthy, I think.
Oh, yes.
Power forward as well. He can play either one. And he can shoot. He's a good shooter. Yes. He has everything you want in a center plus more, in my opinion.
If he leaves the Timberwolves, that team, if they have good players too, is winning a championship if he's healthy. Yeah. I think, and I've been a strong, I don't really like Kentucky basketball, but Kentucky basketball aside, I've been a strong Cat supporter. he's been through a lot in his life too. You got to keep that in account, and he's been pushing through it. And then on top of that, he's not this season, but in like previous seasons, top 3 center in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, when he plays a full season.
Yes.
But like look at these stats. Ever since his rookie year, he's averaged 18 or more points every year. Like he hasn't averaged he's only played 27 games this season, and in 2019 only played 35. But he averaged at least 20.4 points every season except for his rookie year.
It's insane.
That's crazy. And like for Julius Randle, I have him cutting. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player. He is a great player. But I just don't think his skills compare to these two guys' skills.
I don't think he's as consistent.
Yeah.
Either.
I mean, he's averaging like, I'm pretty sure, right here.
I'm saying on like a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, he has those big games that bring up his averages up.
Yeah.
But he does average at least like 15 points a game consistently.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why this was hard. I'll say it again. It was very hard to pick these.
Yeah, but that's ours. And then the next, we have one more, which is LaMelo Ball, Fred VanVleet, and Jamal Murray. I'll start us off this time. I'm starting Melo. I think Melo is like he's the bright side of the Charlotte Hornets. Other than he's gotten injured a couple times this year, but he was a flashy player his rookie season. He helped them get to the playoffs. He knows how to play ball. He great. He can give he's not afraid to give the ball up to assists. He can get to the basket. He can shoot. He can rebound. He is everything you want in a player. And then my bench is Jamal Murray. I think it's pretty obvious over Fred VanVleet. He's helped Jokic get to the playoffs in that 1 seed so many times. And without him, the Nuggets don't do what they do. But with Fred VanVleet, he's just been going downhill. Like he's good, but not as good as these two, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, Mike, I'm actually gonna have to agree fully on everything you just said. I'm starting LaMelo. Like you said, like the bright spot. He is. And if he was healthier this season and he had a little bit more support and maybe Miles Bridges wasn't facing charges, maybe this season would have been different for the Hornets. LaMelo Ball has a super bright future, and I think he's basically the face of the franchise already for the Hornets. And if they don't improve, they need to trade him because he's going to waste his career there, like Kemba Walker. And then on top of that, I'm benching Jamal Murray. I mean, we all know how good Jamal Murray is, and he's on a 1-seeded team.
Yeah.
And then you've basically already said everything. And I said this before, Fred VanVleet, man, Freddie definitely fell off since 2019.
Yeah.
And, I still just see Drake whenever I see him play ball. And, he's just not at that level he used to be. I kind of forgot he even existed. I'm not going to lie. The Raptors have not been really relevant as of late. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for Start Bench Cut.
Yeah, and then we're going to move right into our Around the League NFL. A few big things happened. We'll start off with the Patriots. Unfortunately, Mac Jones apparently has been shot around by the Pats. His relationship with Bill Belichick is apparently not doing so well right now, which really sucks for me. I really like Mac Jones. I mean, I don't think it was his fault last season at all. It was definitely Matt Patricia's fault. He's terrible, and Mac Jones.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick was kind of the one that got Matt Patricia.
Yeah, which
keep that in mind.
He was. I'm not denying that he was. He loves Matt Patricia. But he is a defensive mind coach, not offense, and it showed when he was on the Lions.
It's bad coaching for Belichick.
It is. I love Belichick. I think he's the greatest, but he's
getting a little too old.
Yeah, it's getting a little too old. But I'm excited to see what Bill O'Brien does with us. I hope Mac Jones is our quarterback. I love Mac Jones. If he's not, Bailey Zappi season. Hey, Tom Brady story and him. And then after, what are your thoughts on the Mac Jones situation?
Okay, let's first address Bailey Zapp, Tom Brady story. First off, Drew Bledsoe had been in the league for a while.
I'm just saying it was a joke. Yeah, okay, it was just a joke.
It's just these Pats fans, man. You gotta call them out on their BS.
Oh, but there was one thing that's funny to see. The teams that were interested are the Bucks, Texans, Commanders, and Raiders. The Raiders have been picking off Pats players for like a lot of them. They have Brian Hoyer. They are interested in Mac Jones,
Jimmy G. Their head coach is Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, like they're trying to become picking off these bats players. Josh McDaniels is smart because he did very well with them.
They just need to stop. What they're doing opposite from the Patriots is they're picking everybody who just gets arrested. That's what they're doing wrong. I mean, Patriots did have Aaron Hernandez, but let's.
Oh, and Jacoby Myers. They signed Jacoby Myers.
Oh yeah, well he already helped them get a win earlier this season. But besides that, yeah, the whole Mac Jones situation, that doesn't really surprise me. Those teams that like the Bucs don't surprise me. Commanders.
Texans kind of surprise me.
Well, they're still gonna kind of like who knows.
I
Man.
mean,
they might want to kind of go 1-2 whoever they choose. Kind of have Mac out there. Who knows? They won't get him.
Yeah, I know.
If anything, I don't really see Mac Jones going anywhere.
The way I talked to my brother about this. The way I see it, why they were interested is because maybe they want Mac Jones. They think he could be a piece, and they can go somewhere else in the draft.
Yeah.
That's what they're probably thinking. But other than that, there was a few more things that happened. D-Hop news saying he may get released instead of being traded if they can't find a partner. And the two teams, apparently there's the two big teams, is the Chiefs and the Patriots. Obviously, it's I know what you're gonna say. Calm down. Let me speak. The Patriots are always on there. I know, but the only way the Chiefs could get him is if they sign him to a deal they signed Juju to last year, which is not a lot of money.
D-Hop it's gonna be one of those things like whenever he went to the Cardinals, it's gonna be like that team just came out of the blue.
Yeah.
It's not going to be either of those teams. And if it is, I'll be surprised. If it's the Chiefs, I'm going to hate the NFL. and if it's the Patriots, they're still not making the playoffs.
If we have Mac Jones. No, okay. If it's the Patriots, we are making the playoffs, dude. We are making the playoffs. Chill. All right.
You got a lot of good teams to beat, especially if Aaron Rodgers goes.
Okay.
Which that's still
when is that going to happen? I don't see it happening anymore.
They might be holding out on Lamar. That's a possibility.
No, actually, no. I saw it's the Packers.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Jets still could be looking at
maybe,
Lamar now. That's been taking so long.
Maybe the Packers and Ravens might be doing a little switch.
It's possible.
It's possible. Who knows? But the last thing I saw, former Cardinals executive Terry McIndoe filed an arbitration claim today to Roger McIndoe. Sorry, it's hard to say. He sent a claim to Roger Goodell against Cardinals owner Mitchell Bidwell, alleging of cheating, discrimination, and harassment.
Classic.
Yeah, cheating with the Cardinals, kind of hard to see. They did trash. They did so bad.
Yeah, I don't know what they cheated on.
And maybe past seasons.
Probably that.
Because he's former. So maybe the year they did pretty good with Kyler and D-Hop when they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
do you have anything else to say about that? So that's going to wrap up that, and we're going to head into our next segment, which is the countdown. Today's is best throwback jerseys in the NFL, and I'm excited for this one. I want to see what you have to say, Nick. Go ahead.
Yeah, so to start us off, I'm going to pick the Houston Oilers jerseys. Nothing gets better than that kind of baby blue with the white, unless it's North Carolina. And just it was just awesome. And also the Oilers logo, very, very cool to see. It's iconic, and that's what you need to think of when you think about the best throwback NFL jerseys. Besides that, you got to go creamsicle for the Bucks. That orange, like I said, iconic. When you're thinking of the old Bucks, you're thinking about that. And sadly, Brady's not going to be able to wear those throwbacks, but I think they're coming this upcoming year, so that's going to be really cool to see back on the field. On top of that, give me the Patriots throwback. It doesn't really even hurt me to say because these things are cool. At least the logo is. The colors back in the day, they were brighter, more exuberating, which, I love to see that. So it was a little bit brighter blue. And then you got the awesome kind of Patriot holding the football for the logo. Love seeing that. And then my last one, you could have gone like the Dolphins or Chargers route, which are really great jerseys, but for me, I'm gonna go the Eagles.
That's 4, by the way.
What?
That was 4. This is the countdown's 5.
Oh shoot! I had this as my Mount Rushmore. That's my fault. That's fine. That's totally fine.
All right.
And then the Eagles will be my number 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Eagles are my number 2. That's what I was saying, of course.
What is the best?
Yeah. And yeah. So. Well, that. Oh well. For the 5 listeners, thank you. But what I will say is, yeah, the Eagles, the bright eagle thing and the kind of gray wings, very iconic. And whenever I kind of think of that, I think of the movie Invincible.
Yeah, great movie.
Great movie. And then, I'll do it then. No, I'm not going to pick the Chargers because the reason I'm not picking the Chargers is because I feel like they're still very similar to today's. So I would go throwback Dolphins logo, which they've talked in the past about bringing back entirely. And, it wasn't until like 2010, 2011 that they got rid of them with the, circle of the sun with the dolphin and the football helmet. Love seeing that. My honorable mention would be the Rams.
Yeah. For me, on my list, I'm switching up a little bit. My 5, I'm going to go with the Rams because I totally forgot about them when I was making this list. But the Rams is super iconic. I love their navy blue, gold, obviously their Ram logo and their helmet. And then my 4, give me the Dolphins. I love their old Dolphin logo. I love it, and I love the colors they had about it. And then on my 3, give me the Bucks, Bucko Bruce unis, the green, the orange, bright orange. I actually really like those, and I would love to see them in today's game.
Yeah.
And then my 2 is the Titans/Oilers. Like you said, you already said it. I love the old logo. I love how they wear that blue. And then my number 1.
Wonder what number 1 is.
And I'm not even lying. I have no bias in this at all. I love the Patriots as throwbacks. They're my favorite throwbacks in any league, dude.
No bias,
dude.
guy.
I'm not.
No
I'm
bias.
serious. Like I'm not trying. I'm not being biased here. I love the Patriot Pat unis, Pat the Patriot, and they're so bright and they just fit perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah. Did they wear those last season?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They wore it 2 times.
Very clean.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for the countdown, and we're gonna head into our last 3 segments here. Sports of tomorrow. This is for my dad. He's been wanting me to talk about this on my podcast for a while, since the beginning. Since we started. Yeah. It is called the Pro Kabaddi League. Dad, you are welcome. So the Pro Kabaddi League, it is a highly physical, action-packed, fast-paced game played between 2 teams of 7. One team attempts to infiltrate the opponent's end zone by sending a player called the Raider to tag their opponents while attempting to return their own corner untagged. It's basically tag. It's basically a professional tag.
Yeah. And now I watched some highlights of your dad.
Yeah.
Highlights. And yeah, man, it looked like they're like linking arms and stuff. Yeah. This sport gets crazy.
It does look pretty interesting, but at the beginning when we were making this, I was like, Dad, we're doing straight sport, like big sports in America. And then I thought of sport tomorrow. I was like, hey, I can add it in here. But anyways, it is called the PKL for short. There's about 25 variants, most of which are only played locally in India. It's huge in India. That's where it's big. The game has only 2 global recognized variants, the standard form and the circle variant. A part of a minor difference in the game, regulations and gameplay is basically the same. But let's see. It is a highly fit, blah, blah, blah. I already said that. And then with help of the Pro Kabaddi League, the sport joined a list of indigenous Indian games recognized as a professional sport of today. The league was launched only in 2014, but the interest and prominence of the generation so far has been impressive. In fact, it is dubbed one of India's most exciting and fastest growing sports leagues. With only 9 seasons played so far, the PKL has come a long way, growing leaps and bounds in terms of viewership around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a bunch. This whole website is showing what it is. It's the playoffs. There's a competition playoff stage, which includes 2 kinds of games: the eliminator and the semifinal. The top 2 teams from each group at stage advance through the semifinals directly, leaving the remaining 4 to compete in the elimination matches.
Yeah, so it's basically just tag almost, but with extra steps.
Yeah, just like extreme tag, basically.
Yeah.
There's the Patna Pirates have been the most successful team in the PKL, winning 3 titles in 4 finals appearances. So they made it 4 times, won 3 times.
You know what's cool about that? That's my favorite team.
You know what? Let's just hop on the bandwagon. We are Pirates fans.
Dude, I love that name too, the Patna Pirates.
It is a cool name.
That is awesome.
And with the most total points and 9 seasons played of the competition so far, the Partners Pirates? Is that another team?
It's probably just a typo.
Typo. Patna's Pirates have accumulated the most points, recording 5,813 points in 167 matches.
Dang, so these points go up.
Bengaluru Bulls are second, and U Mamba are in third.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah, they suck, man. I don't know. The Bengaluru Bulls that's a pretty cool name. Ooh, there's the best Raider. Pardeep Narwhal is one of the players that is the best, but he will not be forgotten easily in the history of the PKL. He has 1,425 raid points. Wow.
Yeah, the raid points, bro. Raid Shadow Legends.
That's what I was thinking.
Like that.
Raid Shadow Legends.
So yeah, no. But really cool sport.
It is cool.
Is that all you got to say?
That's all I am going to say about that. But we are going to get into our final main segment of today, which is draft day. And today's draft day is all things birds. I'm excited for this one. Are you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Let me pick the wheel of names here. Shoot. Fuck. I guess Daya is going first.
Daya, who you got?
Here, let me get our names in here. So Nick, Mike. All right. Again, this is a 7 pick draft since there's only 2 of us. John, we miss you. But John is no longer with us. John is starting his own podcast or YouTube channel. It'll be on OuttaPocket Sports. But the first pick goes to Mike, and that's called the Weekly Dose, by the way.
More to come on that.
More to come.
Yeah.
So with the first pick, let me pull up my draft board here. I'm gonna go with the Mighty Eagle from Angry Birds.
A very cool bird. Very, very
it is
cool.
a cool bird.
Yeah, so thank God you didn't pick this. Give me Larry Bird.
Yeah, I know you were gonna do that. I was gonna pick that, but
you were gonna do that. Yeah, I did. It's very cool.
But
that was my first idea. He said we're doing an all birds draft. I said Larry Bird.
I was gonna give that to you because when you said in the chat, I didn't want to steal it from you.
Because
then you would be going like, "Oh, you stole that from me. You stole."
No, wouldn't have. I would have said respect. That's a good pick.
Okay. Well, with my next pick, give me Happy Feet.
Yeah, great bird. Very, very solid bird. I'm gonna stick with you. Give me the Penguins of Madagascar.
Damn. Why did I even think of that? I didn't even have them on my list. That was a good pick.
Thank you.
Okay, with my next pick, give me America, the bald eagle.
Eagles are great. High school, we're the Eagles. Yeah, give me the Fruit Loop bird.
The macaw?
Yeah. Toucan Sam, that's his name.
Yeah. Not a macaw, I'm so stupid. Fruit Loop bird.
Yeah, it's a toucan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my bad. And then with my next pick, give me you know what? Give me Zazu from The Lion King.
Yeah, very, very solid. I was thinking about picking him, but give me Hedwig from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I had him on my list. I was so close to going with him. Then for my next one, give me the movie Rio.
Yeah, the Rio bird. He's kind of quirky. He's kind of silly, but yeah.
Well, no, the movie Rio.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
In total.
Yeah,
okay.
like with Happy Feet is the movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like the Happy Feet penguin.
No.
Okay.
Just give me Happy Feet.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now. With my next pick, give me, and you could throw a flag on this if you want, porgs from Star Wars. They're technically a bird. They fly. And, yeah.
Oh, that little, the one that just screams in that one
Yeah,
clip?
The ones from The Last Jedi. Well, they don't really scream. They're just...
Porgs.
Yeah.
Star Wars. They're like penguins, so I'll give that to you.
Yeah, they're little cute things.
For me, my next pick, we have 2 picks left. Damn, there's so many. Give me Donald the Duck.
Donald Duck, yeah. He's always just a solid duck, when you're thinking of ducks. Yeah, I actually have a lot of great ones left. But give me Mordecai from Regular Show. I've picked Regular Show for like 3 drafts now at this point, so I gotta stick with it.
All right, this is my last pick. Yeah, there's 2 I can go here. What? Give me the seagulls from Nemo. The
Yeah.
mine. Those seagulls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you get my last one here.
It's not going to be. Was that your last pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be. I'm gonna take calling girls birds.
What?
Whenever you call like a girl, like like those fine birds.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Calling girls birds.
Got to be unique on the drafts.
See, the one I hope you picked was Chicken Little.
Yeah, I will tell you, I was debating just picking St. Louis Cardinals. Their Hey from Moana was good, and then also the bird from Up.
Yeah, Kevin. I had him on my list, but the Rio bird you think of is Blue, by the way. That's his name. I was thinking about taking Surf's Up, the movie with all the penguins.
Yeah.
There's a quote me and Connor keeps saying. It's from his like, they want me. Like the character's name's Kevin or something.
Cody.
Or Cody. Cody's this. Cody's that. Cody's me, bro. Cody
Yeah.
is me. It's like that's deep.
Yeah.
Like
I would have even gone further. If not picking the movie, I would have picked the rooster from that movie.
Yeah.
Forgot his name, but
I forgot his name too. But also on my
I was
list,
like 6 when I saw that movie. So.
But also on my list, I had Bird Box, the movie.
Oh yeah.
That was huge when it came out. And then I had the Falcon from Marvel, and then Howard the Duck from Marvel, and the Vulture from Marvel. But there's actually a lot of stuff dealing with birds.
Yeah, they're a famous animal.
They're majestic, some might say.
But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for our draft day, all things birds. And we're going to head into the post game where, we were so thankful to have Colton on today. Colton Gordon, amazing guy, especially being a UCF alum. We love that here. But on top of that, make sure you guys are following our socials, spreading the word. Spread the word to as many people as you can. Just a simple, hey, here's a link to if you guys are doing a sports podcast. They have great guests on. Show them a little bit of love. We would love if you subscribe, but just, leave a like, leave a comment, and just make sure you follow our socials.
Yeah, on top of that, if you ever are feeling like lazy or draggy, but you don't know, but maybe you do, you should, but we have a solution for you.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it, and I think it might be just right in front of your eyes.
Yeah, it's right here, actually. It's called Dubby, an energy drink, jitterless, may I say.
Yeah.
You can use our code against the call in all caps for 10% off your next purchase.
Yeah, and I've seen a few other sports podcasts kind of use Dubby. They kind of are stealing our thing, but
yeah,
it's whatever. But then, also with Colton Gordon, if you're ever trying to catch a game that he's playing in anywhere,
or if you're seeing him in a concert.
Or, if you're seeing him in a concert, if you're watching Colton Gordon sing, make sure that you use our code ATC on SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Gets rid of all those fees for you, and we can't even describe the amounts of people that have came to us saying thank you for using this code, and that's not even exaggerated.
No,
we appreciate we appreciate you guys.
But with that, I just want to say follow OuttaPocket Sports, follow Against the Call, follow all of our podcasts. There will be one for you if you're not into sports. There is more coming soon, but MMA, there's a new one coming out with me called The Uppercut with my friend Luke Stutzman. We have the Weekly Dose with John that's going to be coming out on YouTube, exclusive on OuttaPocket Sports. And then we also have Foil Hats, a conspiracy podcast with host Braden Hutchinson and Connor Thompson. It's a fun one over there.
Yeah.
And then there's always our Tennessee friend Riled Up with Presley and Riley. And then Jay's Fifth Down with Jaden over in Atlanta. Go check them out. They have good ones over there too.
Yeah. And just to wrap it up, if you're ever feeling a little cold, you need something cozy, make sure that you buy our merch. We have Against the Call merch. Please DM me or Mike for it. It would mean the world if you help support what we're building here. And on top of that, that's going to do it for this episode, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.